Okay, kids, welcome to Godfather 6. Again, we're still in the bar because of the Godfather, the movie. A lot of deals got done in a bar, some shady bar. We really should have some half-clothed prostitutes walking around. But I welcome Bill Murphy. This is his third regular seminar, and you've attended a hardcore, and he attended a one day in London.
Right.
A year and a half ago. And he's here for the seminar, which will start later on this evening. And he's going to give us some of his time to talk about some of the trials and tribulations of the system. And I was just explaining to him, the last seminar we had 4 Irish. Murph is an Irish name, although he was born in Massachusetts? Massachusetts. We had 4 Irish guys last seminar. And all the things I teased him about, Murphy's Law and that kind of thing, they personified. One guy from Belfast and 3 young men from in and around Dublin. They're probably county this or county that, but anyway. And I was just telling Bill that of the 4 that you did a lineup like in police work, and they introduced themselves and talked a couple minutes, did a blah, blah, blah. You would have never picked the guy that so far has been doing the best. He's out of the class about 3.5 weeks. A lot of the things that we thought were sacrosanct in the seminar aren't sacrosanct, and they're not even best practices. And we keep changing away from the old format, which was the format for many years. And I was just telling Bill that even though the practices and what we do and the efficiencies we found in the seminar, some by trial and error, some by recommendation from the other kids that attended the seminar, we have continued to make the seminar better. But what hasn't gotten better from 1993 are the quality of people that attend the seminar. And I don't mean about PhDs or high IQs or mathematicians, whatever, none of that. But the kids, and I've said this before, the kids in the 90s and the early 2000s were just fucking hungrier. They just were. There's no doubt about it. One of these 4 Irish guys, even though I teased them, I had trouble understanding how he fucking talked. Even the other 3 Irish guys who weren't from Belfast found it difficult to understand how he talked. Is screaming. And I say he's a pig farmer, even though I know he said pigs to me when we were talking in our one-on-one, but actually he's a sheep and cow farmer come a mechanic. He's just screaming. He's hit the ground running. And he told me he was, but if I had $1 for every person that told me that they were going to come out screaming, I'd have another $1 million. It's a lot of the things, the standard things in teaching, like Pavlov's dog. Pavlov's dog methodology works better for the mentees than the current, what I call high society political correctness. Fear works. I say it at least 5 or 10 times during the seminar. It's a shitty way to run a railroad, but fear works. It just does. There's a reason why the Spartans took the kids away from their mamas when they're 7 or 8. Of course, self-esteem is built the first 7 or 8 years. The Catholic Church says, you give me your children the first 7 or 8 years, and they say it much more nicely than this, and we will own them for life. I'm a classic example. I'm a wannabe altar boy the rest of my life. The Catholic Church has its hand so far up my ass, I'm surprised the Pope's little bonnet isn't showing through my teeth. And that's just it. They do it right. And so I was telling Bill that a lot of the things, one of which was when we started the mentor program in 2010, I thought, this is the guilt-edge panacea. And it was kind of in the beginning. But it just so happens in 2010, 11, and 12, we got the last batch of male testosterone on the planet. We got the last fucking batch. Marcus Bauer, Bavarian Bob, Dan Locke, to name a few. And then since then, the willingness to make sacrifices has fallen off. It just has. And I said last seminar, the only good thing that's ever happened to me since I've been giving the seminar in 28 plus years, the only good luck, if you can call it good luck, is Corona. It's the only good thing that's happened to us. All the rest is like Atlas Shrugged, pulling up a big pile of shit uphill. And because it's given us an opportunity, because the people are afraid. The people that are selling businesses are afraid. It's given us a huge advantage. Although the last seminar I also added, in full disclosure, even though it was our time, it's still our time, most of the kids, knowing that it's easier now, because now you can put a board together in a week. This Irish guy that we're going to interview tomorrow, he put together a board, the banks, the lawyers, everything, in 2 weeks and 8 days. And is now looking at acquisition candidates in the third week. You can put a lipstick on a pig, but it's still a fucking pig. But I mean, Bill's had his own, I don't like to use the word journey because one of my mentees uses it for a whole other set of circumstances. And although we've had people that have come to the seminar 12 times in a hardcore before the shoe dropped or the penny dropped or whatever the saying is. Marcus Bauer has attended 6 seminars, a hardcore, and is coming back again in September with his new wife. But those are, that's a de minimis amount of people. But, you know, everybody, you know, gets it at a different rate. We have a 12 and a 13-year success story. And they didn't give up. But that's not how the program is set up. The program is set up, if you do almost everything right, 30 to 36 months, i.e. a Josh Kim. 5 years if you're slow. 7 years if you're retarded. That's the program. That's the program. And it's pretty much stood the test of time now, having done it 28 years. What did you find the most difficult part of the program, Bill?
The most difficult part, I would say, is just the emotion of it. This is, as you know, I've done Ironmans in the past, and I've done all these like feats of endurance that have been cool. But I got in 2009, I checked myself into the ER because I thought I was having a heart attack. So my business had grown to a certain point, and they put me out through all these tests, and they came to this conclusion that I was fine, that I was having no problems at all, even though I felt like I was a heart attack. But the doctor walked me out in the hallway and said, "You see all these elderly folks right here? You're going to be one of them unless you find something else to do than the business." And I was right around 38 at the time. And so I thought, I got to find something to do. So I signed up for an Ironman. And I remember how nervous I was pressing the button, because even though I was incredible, it was $600, paid the $600, and I figured I got to bike 100 miles, 120 miles, I got to run a marathon, and I've got to swim 2.5 miles. And I've got 9 months to do it. And I jumped in and did it. And so it started this process of me becoming uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable, and I had to get over that physically. But I always felt very confident in my physical capability to do things. I'm not going to list all the other things I did in that time frame. But this, I found, is the Ironman of business training, of entrepreneurship. And I know you tease people saying, really don't need to come here, and you don't.
You don't.
You don't. I mean, I go to the website and start listening to hundreds of hours worth of 1996. I'm obsessed with the 96 tapes right now. And I know Thomas mentioned the 96 tapes as well. Very much the same themes, but this is 100% my challenge has been, this is the Ironman of business training. And for me, I did my first Ironman and I seized up after the swim, and I still had 2/3 of the race to go. Then the next one I did better. The next one I did better. So I here, every time I come here, I'm raising my level. You call it default. But your tendency is to emotionally fall, and now I just don't fall as much anymore. And I've been able to put together 2 transactions. Again, I'm not proceeding it, but I am executing my Quantum Leap program. Okay, we can call it a process. I think you like that word better, but it is a program for me and I will get to my destination. But the default, the emotion of it has been the challenge, not the physicality of it.
And after 28 years, I said this 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, the last 5 years. 6 packs, Ironmans, 3 to 5% body fat, all that is dog shit. That is another form of procrastination. I have not one 6-pack on the Hall of Fame. Not one. And we're adding 3 new Hall of Famers tomorrow. 3 new. Let's see. No, none of them have not even closely resembles a 6-pack. They got a blubber pack. 2 of the 3 have a blubber pack. And so you go out, and when I was young, from my Wall Street days, I made a lot of money young. And so I used to be a competitive racquetball player, pretty good racquetball player. And so I entered tournaments, but I mean, the real top world-class racquetball players, their physical fitness, I mean, their endurance is second to none. So I started running to get into better shape to play racquetball. And I'm OCD, I'm obsessive, so ultimately I ran 100 miles in a race, and there's a saying in running, if you haven't run 100 miles and pissed blood, you're not a man. Well, I ran 100 miles in 22 hours and 40 minutes, and I pissed blood. But then what else was I going to do? Okay, and then I was still making a lot of money, and so I said, I'll take up weightlifting. So I went and found the only world-class weightlifter in LA at that time, who was the guy, I forget what he was. And I started taking anabolic steroids. I couldn't get over 287 pounds in weight, no matter how much I ate. If I ate 100,000 calories a day, I couldn't get over 287 pounds. I bench pressed 395, and why didn't I bench press 400? They forgot to put the fucking collars on. And I never even got close to that again. And I lifted some big, humongous amounts of weight. I got big as a fucking house. But then I was just procrastinating because I wasn't competing with the big guys for money. I wasn't competing with the Gates of that time and the Jobs of that time. But I was in the next layer because I was making, 10, 20, $30 million a year. I was making what seemingly was a lot of money. And I realized I was procrastinating. So then it took me 7 months to gain 70 pounds. It took me 4.5 years to lose 70 pounds. 4.5 years.
I would say the other thing that's been what other people, and again, this, when you form a board, you're forming this board because they're smarter than you, and they're bringing this team to the table that you have to lead. But that was, for me, I always felt, not always, but there were times that it was just like, why am I not open? Just go and ask that question to them, ask that question, ask that. And I was holding back on those questions to the board because I felt like it was a stupid question.
And you don't want to sound stupid. And that's why I still get called, and we're going to go over them tomorrow, 3 cases that didn't listen. And all 3 of the guys I had the same answer for. What the fuck did your board say? And then when I get no reply back, I know they never asked the board. Because in 2 of the 3 questions are so simplistic, I could catch somebody on the 4-4 highway out here, and 5 out of 10 could answer the question, not even knowing the problem. It's that simple. And it's because your parents fucked you up. It's just it. At this seminar, this group that you're part of, 19 of the 24 said they had a good relationship with their parents. That's death. That's death. That means they're fucked. They're not just fucked for now, they're fucked forever. Because now the youngest tomorrow is 18, the oldest is 52. Average age is 33. And at least half of them should have never been born. At least half of them should have rolled down their mama's leg. And this is the last town, the earth is flat, and this is the last town, we're the last bar and the last town on the edge of the earth. There is no after this seminar. Now, a lot of people are going to choose not to come. We've had people that paid that don't even show up for the seminar Because they realize, I wish you all did that this coming week. And then I wouldn't have to do anything. I'll just sit here and bullshit and have a beer with Bill. But most of you don't understand it. And Bill, the Catholic Church did a job on him, not dissimilar to myself. But some people just take longer. And some people can't do it. There's at least a half a dozen people that are in the seminar this week with your group that I will bet £1 million to a penny have no chance whatsoever. None. Zero. If they got, I'm trying to think of, the black doctor from Trump's cabinet. What's his name?
Ben Carson.
They could have him as chairman and a healthcare deal, and they'd still fail. Because you engage in self-sabotaging activities. Most of the people that come here, contrary to what they say, don't believe they deserve it.